Thank you, Judge. Your Honor, I have two rather brief ones that I'd like to read. The first one is from theater survivor Jacob Brinek, B-R-I-N-C-K, first name J-A-C-O-B. My impact statement. I am afraid of theaters. I never know what may happen around me. Fireworks bring back memories. The movie itself. Batman will always be different to me now. It will always be a reminder. I'm more emotional than I was. Certain things bother me in movies and TV shows. It's just been hard. Thank you. The second impact statement from Karen Gomez, K-A-R-E-N-G-O-M-E-Z, theater survivor. The night of July 19th, 2012 into the early morning of July 20th, 2012 has changed my life forever. When I was thinking about how this night has impacted me, my first thought was it hasn't. Maybe because I didn't want it to, or because if I actually admitted that it had some kind of effect on me, then he would win. For months after the incident, I could not sleep. Everything was racing through my mind from that night. What could I have changed? What could I have done differently? Survivor's guilt was eating at me. Then I was angry because my daughter was not sleeping at night and would need the light and TV on just to feel comfortable. This went on for months. Just when she would get comfortable, something else would trigger her, and we were back to the same thing. Her not wanting to leave the house, being uncomfortable at night, to even go into the car. I didn't know how to fix this, so I would stay up at night and worry. I have a hard time dealing with the fact that I meet people who were in that theater where youth and innocence was stripped away from them, and they will never get back their lives, and they will always be altered. What the defendant took away from so many does not define who they are or what they will become, but it has seriously altered their course. I will forgive the defendant for what he has done, but I can say that no matter what the sentence is, the defendant will need to find a way to forgive himself for all of his actions and make peace with himself. I will finish with a quote. Sometimes people haven't apologized because they are ashamed. Forgive them anyway. Sometimes you have to be okay with a sorry you never got. Forgiveness unlocks a blessing. Sincerely, Karen Gomez.
Thank you. Ms. Tish McGuire.
We have a sentencing statement from the Mayor of Aurora, Steve Hogan.
This is a victim impact statement about the impact on a relative of Alex Sullivan. The court probably well knows now that that guy murdered Alex by shooting him in the chest with a rifle. This is from Jean Collins, J-E-A-N-N-E, Collins, C-O-L-L-I-N-S, mother-in-law of homicide victim Alex Sullivan. What did I learn from Alex? To live a good life, one that cared about others, those he knew, and complete strangers. He treated everyone like they mattered because to him they did. He listened and dreamed. He loved his wife, family, friends, his God, and his faith. He had a great joy and also struggled with challenges presented to him, but it did not get him down. His presence made a difference. He had a joyful spirit, sense of humor, and loved expressing himself through his large physical body. Yes, he found joy for what God gave him. He protected those he cared about gently. He corrected those around him gently, standing up for what is good and right. His spirit had its own language of love. Anyone connecting or just talking with him felt it. What I know for sure is he is with the Father and has heard the words, quote, "Well done, good and faithful servant," end quote. He has pleased our God for eternity. There is no greater reward. Our time here is short, and Alex made each day count. I recall a post of Alex's that stated he didn't know what his purpose in life was. What I find amazing is he was living his purpose every moment and never knew how he truly blessed us all, including strangers that would meet him. Alex had random acts of kindness behind the scenes and delighted in knowing they would help some he would never know. I was blessed to witness Alex sitting at my mom's bedside after an acute heart attack and watching for the first time someone receiving a blood transfusion that would save her life. He gave gallons and gallons of blood to help anyone, and finally saw the blessing of his act right in front of him, someone he loved. Alex, I'm better for knowing you, watching you, listening to your heart and sincerity. I will always love you and be grateful for the 5.5 years I had with you. I knew in my heart how special you were the day I met you. I knew you were genuine. You came into our lives at a time of our greatest hurt, Cassie's dad's death. You were there for her from the start and never left her side. I recall praying over Cassie when she was just a child on a daily basis, and I also prayed for the little boy that would grow up to be her husband. Little did I know this little boy would show up in her life at the most difficult time in her life and hold, love, and support her from that day forward. You made my daughter the luckiest girl in the world. I will always love you for that. I miss you, Alex. You are one of God's greatest gifts. I will always love you dearly. I thank God for you.
Thank you. Ms. Tish McGuire.
The statement from Heather Bailey.
Your Honor, this is a victim impact statement from Racina Cowan, theater survivor. I have one daughter and will never have another child. She is my life, and I've often said she saved my life. The defendant tried to take her from me. The overwhelming emotional damage the defendant has inflicted on those who survived can never be completely healed, at least not for me. I say a prayer every day for the children the defendant took from their families. At the same time, I give thanks that for some reason my child was spared, and I was also spared. For some reason the defendant's life has been spared. I have to live with knowing the person intent on taking the part of my world that matters to me more than my own life will continue to live his life. If the defendant must live, I do not want the defendant to forget what he has done to those of us who weren't injured or murdered at his hand. We also live with the memory, we also relive moments, and we also have had our lives permanently changed by his choice and not ours. I can't let him live not knowing that we too suffered and continue to try and redefine our lives, which now includes the horrible, atrocious, devastating event that impacted our lives forever. I grieve for those who were taken. I grieve for those who were permanently scarred. I grieve for those of us who survived. Never can the defendant forget we are also the defendant's victims. Racina Cowan.
Can you spell the first and last names, please?
Certainly, Your Honor. R-E-S-E-N-N-A. Last name, C-O-W-A-N.
Thank you. Ms. Tish McGuire.
Aurora Police Detective Craig Apple.
Your Honor, this is a statement from Mary Kay Barg, who is the aunt of homicide victim Alex Sullivan, and Barg is B-A-R-G. My name is Mary Kay Barg, Aunt Kitty to Alex Sullivan. I would like to let the court know that Alex's death has not only affected my life as an aunt back here in Macedon, New York, but all of Alex's cousins and other friends of the family. We remember Alex when he was little, his bear-like hugs, and being able to call and talk with him about everyday activities he was involved with. Alex had a laugh and smile that would brighten anyone's day. That will be missed forever. When I call to talk with my sister Terry, Alex's mom, I find it very difficult to let her know how my son is doing. There are times we can talk and have a few laughs, but there are times Terry will call me at any hour because she's emotionally drained. I have always been here for Terry and always will, but nothing will ever bring my little sister back to who she truly was. Terry lost a son. I still have mine. And as a mother of a firstborn son, I cannot, in the deepest part of my heart, feel that loss that my sister Terry, brother-in-law Tom, and niece Megan are feeling and going to feel for the rest of their lives. Yes, we do have great memories, wonderful pictures of Alex with a smile that are implanted in my mind and heart, but those do not replace the times we would all be together at family gatherings. For example, Alex's sister Megan was just married and he was not there to hug, laugh, joke around, and make more memories with. Sincerely, Aunt Kitty.
Thank you. Ms. Stitch McGuire.
Austin Laborde. Apartment complex, the defendant filled with explosives and incendiary devices. On July 21st, I got a call at 6 a.m. in the morning. It was a reporter about my building and my tenant, Mr. James Holmes. From there, it was a nightmare for the next 1.5 years. I was afraid for myself, afraid for my tenants, afraid for my workers, afraid for the police that night, and afraid for weeks and weeks after. Afraid for the workers, and I was afraid about the harassment from the reporters, the constant calls, the constant friction, the constant attempts to get information that I would not give. Always wondering, what else did the defendant set up in the building that might potentially still kill someone? The apartment, no longer rentable, lost income of $180,000. I finally had to sell the building for about $200,000 to $300,000 less than the building was worth. I could not do it anymore. I went to a psychiatrist many times. This incident reflected on my childhood issues and caused a great deal of emotional upsetness, fearness, and it was very difficult for me to do anything. It was difficult for me to run my business, and I had so many losses as a result of this incident. I cannot explain enough the constant trauma that resulted as a result of the defendant's crimes. The loss of money was over $480,000, and it's probably not recoverable, but should be paid by the defendant. He should get the maximum sentence that is possible, and he should never be released. His apology would be worthless. He doesn't care, and he got exactly what he wanted in all of his fame. Thank you, Your Honor. Joan Hawley.
All right, thank you.
Now I have a statement from Karen Campbell.
Your Honor, a victim impact statement from Amy Cook, theater survivor. July 20th, 2012, 3 minutes, 180 seconds. 1/1000. Just that quickly, in the flash of a muzzled blast, life for me and family was forever altered. There is no sentence length that will ever bring back Alex Sullivan, A.J. Boyk, Gordon Cowden, Michaela Medic, Veronica Mosher Sullivan, John Larimer, Jonathan Blunk, Rebecca Wingo, Matt McQuinn, Jessica Gowie, Jesse Childers, Alex Teaves, were the piece of my soul that left that night along with them. I say their names out loud, as I will always carry them in my heart and in my soul. What started as a tragedy has now become a routine of daily challenges. I would be lying if I said this didn't emotionally affect me. The battlefield of that night was very one-sided, with no way to fight back. The images of carnage and broken bodies will never completely leave me. My heart aches in my struggle to see my family struggle, knowing that we left Alex Teves that night instead of carrying him out. Our daughter has no desire at this time to walk back into a theater and still gets angry when my spouse and I go to the movies. The job that I have enjoyed for years has been a continual series of routines and frustrations. I battle my ability to be effective in helping inmates to take accountability for their crimes, crimes which impacted their victims and their victims' families on a very deep emotional and personal level. For that, I want to hate this defendant. I am not hiding under a seat in fear on a blood-stained floor in a dark theater today. No, instead I am standing, and he can clearly see me now. I will heal eventually from the physical and emotional wounds. I will continue to rise from his actions and return to greatness, changing the world one life at a time. I am winning. However, everyone, even he deserves redemption. I can hear my grandparents who have passed on, and my parents, clearly in my head, reminding me of the biblical principles I was raised on and believe. Amy, Jesus did not come for the faithful. He came for the lost sinner that needs an abundance of grace and love which only his shed blood provides. In closing, I ask that this court give the defendant the maximum